Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to a mental break. Thanks for tuning in. This is Deanna. Thank you to new subscribers. Thank you to current subscribers. All right, guys, it's been a minute. I've been really busy, not to mention my kitten, my little Maverick. He's not doing so good. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with him, and then I'm going to have to take him to the vet. But anyway, you see the thumbnail. Let's talk about it. I know I'm late talking about Sweetie, but I'm not going to so much talk about her as much as educating people and these young women out here the reality of what's going on with this. Um, and what makes it a reality is that all these people can get on social media and just talk about it. But for those of you who don't know who I am and you're clicking this video for the first time, my name is Deanna. I'm a psych nurse. I've been one for over 20 years. I've worked with the top psychiatrists, psychologists, therapists, and psych techs in my area. I worked in high profile cases and cases that's been in the news. I worked with children all the way up until the elderly. I've worked at the premier psych hospital in the US. So I forgot to be putting that in my intro, but I have worked there. I've worked with anorexic uh, children and adults. I've worked with gymnasts. There are quite a few gymnasts who have eating disorders, and it starts at a young age. But anyway, that's not what this video is about. I'm just giving you my background and what qualifies me to speak on this topic and my knowledge base about this topic. Now, we see a lot about Sweetie, and they're allegedly saying that she's a high price escort, and I don't know that for a fact. Okay, now what I am going to say is I have interviewed several women in the sex industry, several, and there are two women that stand out in my profession that I have spoke to. And of course I'm not going to say names or anything like that. What I am going to say is that for the two women that I have worked with, they have traveled around the world as sex workers. They have been in circles that you and I would never be in. These women are beautiful. These women are intelligent. These women don't look like they would do that. They're very beautiful women, very articulate, and you would never know that this exists. These women dress nice, have uh, nice cars, top cars. They're living a good life, and they've made a lot of money. But the emotional scars that goes along with this type of life runs deep, and it's very traumatic. Now, we've heard about Sweetie, allegedly doing this and allegedly being on substances really bad. Now, let me just say this. The reason, if this is true, that Sweetie is on substances badly, they're saying pills, it's because of what she's doing. I have spoke to these women. I've talked to women who are in this industry, and I do know for a fact of certain celebrities that are in this circle. And let me explain to you how this works, because people really don't understand this. You just look what you see on social media and y'all think, oh, is this, is that. Let me explain something. There is levels to this, okay? There is a level where you have your lower levels and then you have your high end. If Sweetie is doing this, she's on the high end. And I'm going to tell you what classifies you as being at the high end. A lot of these high end escorts are women of a certain stature. And when I say statue, these women are currently celebrities, um, social media influencers, and singers, actresses, and I personally, when I say personally, because I spoke to these two women, they have told me of certain celebrities that are in this business, and they have backed it up with pictures. I've seen them myself. So I'm not going to say anything because it's not for me to tell. And also, these things were told to me in confidence. So the only thing that I can say is that I'm aware of who's actually doing it. And if I told y'all who was really out here doing it or has done it in the past, it would blow your minds. Because I can't tell you that. But what I will say is that it's more women out here than Sweetie that's doing this. It's more than that because there is a level of wealth that is quiet, discreet, and nobody talks about it. That's the highest level that you can go. These women are flooded. We're not talking about just the Dubai. Dubai people are a step below what I'm talking about. At the very top, there's a certain level. Then it is Dubai, and then everything falls under that. Okay, so the level that I'm talking about, these type of men, they don't pick girls off of Instagram. That's not their clientele. They want the polished ones that are not going to say anything because it'll ruin their careers. This is what I will say. Pay attention to the ones who don't have money right now as far as your high-end celebrities. Pay attention who is having money problems besides the older, older, because it's not just women, it's men too. Now don't get this all twisted. It's men out here too that are doing it. And the reason why that they choose these people is because number one, they're going to be discreet about it because they're already in the industry. So when you're in the industry, there's already a level of secrecy because there's certain things you can't talk about. Another reason why they want these people is because they're polished. And when I say polished, they carry themselves a certain way where you wouldn't even think that they do that stuff. You wouldn't even think they do it. You'd be like, oh, that can't be. No, it can't be them. Yes, it is. And so that's your high end. And it's a lot of that going on. It's a lot of it going on. And then you have people under it. Now, where Sweetie is not at the very, very top because at the very top, they tend to like Caucasian women, exotic looking women. They don't really like the women to get too dark. In their world, Sweetie is a little bit too dark. Sweetie's not exotic looking. Now I'm not going to say they don't have darker skinned women, but you have to have an exotic look to you. You have to have something that they don't see often. Like there's a couple women out of Africa that I know of that do this because of the way that they look. So, and they're darker tone. Now, I don't I don't know them personally. I'm saying out of pictures I saw and what I was told that these women are from Africa and they were picked based on their features and how they look because these people like to play, you know, they like variety and they like to play crazy games. And I'm gonna explain something to you. The people that I'm talking about right now, these are the people that we don't see and we don't know about. That this is quiet, built multi-billionaire money. That's what that is. And they play by a totally different set of rules because they have money to buy and sell whatever they want, and that includes people. And a lot of these women do this because the money is high, because what the things that they have to do. And the women that I have dealt with in treatment, when you hear some of the things that they want them to do, you might just throw up. I mean, it's bad. And that might be why, if Sweetie is doing this allegedly, I don't know, that might be, and they say she's having a substance issue that's out of control, and that could be why. Because you can't be in your right mind doing this stuff. You can't. There's no way possible. But you walk away with a big bag. I mean, you walk away with enough money where you can do it once a year, once or twice a year. That's the kind of money you walk away with, because you're not walking away with just a couple $100,000. These women walk away with a lot of money because you're dealing with multi-billionaires who put it like this: 4, 5, 6, 7, 800,000 to them. That's 4, 5, 6, $800 to us. That's the difference for them. So it's not a big deal to them to give this girl to fly this, American model or this European model, fly them out and give them say 4 or 5 million for the weekend, and then she don't have to come back for another, 6 months to a year because she's on a rotation, because they just do this stuff for sport, and it's not just women, it's men too. So I just basically got on here to give you guys like a little window into what really goes on with this. And also to warn you young women, stop idolizing these women on Instagram. Because I'm not saying all of these women do it. What I'm saying is that a lot of times when you see these women on boats and beaches and always got fashion Nova fits, but they riding in Bentleys, think twice on where they getting the money from. Think twice, because you don't see them doing nothing that warrants that kind of luxury. So when, because a lot of times these women are advertising, and these are the women that are on a lower scale. Now I'm going to tell you, these Instagram models and the ones that be out there, that's on a lower scale. The multi-billionaires, they don't want them. They're considered beneath what they want. They want the polished, quiet person, the woman that looks like she's a lady. That's who they want, because these men like to degrade women. That's what they like to do. They look at them as a plaything and they like to degrade them. So that's why they like the polished, upscale woman that they choose. They like those, the upscale women who have exotic features and exotic looks to them. They want them. They don't want you looking like, they don't want Sweetie. Hell, they don't even want Beyonce. They consider Beyonce beneath what they want, even though she's an American celebrity. These type of men, they don't want Beyonce, and not because she's not pretty or anything. It's just that they want somebody more polished than her. Beyonce is not polished enough for them. They like that clean, smooth, youthful, adolescent look, and they want you to look more upscale. They like your hair back in a bun, that kind of stuff. They like you fully clothed. They don't want to see you half naked. They don't pick you out that way. They don't want that. They want you with the polished look because they like to degrade you. They like to, reduce you to nothing. They get thrills out of that. So I'm gonna get off of here. I just got on here to say that Sweetie's not the only one in the industry. They're just using her as the poster child for it, because I know for a fact of a couple more people that's on that list that I know of. Now I'm sure there's more, but the ones that I know of, there's a couple more on that list, and this has been going on for a long time. That's another thing. This ain't nothing that just started when Sweetie came along. This has been going on for a very long time. But I didn't come on here, to be that long. And I'll be back with another video. I just came, on here to explain that because I like to add my 2 cents to some of this stuff that comes up. With me being a new YouTuber and the knowledge base that I have, I like to come on here and add what I know. Not what I think, but what I know. And I've learned it in practice. So I like to try to educate as many young women to just stay away from the entertainment industry. uh Stop posting pictures online where you want to look like, Ari or this one or that one. Stop doing that, because they come in your DMs and they come to you sneakily. They say, oh, we want you to do this, we want you to come do this, we want to, take you here and this and that. Because uh I've heard it happen to quite a few young women, that they'll be in their DMs because they got a certain look to them, and they want to, invite them to this party, or do you want to come to this mixer, people you don't know. So you have to be careful of that, because that's how they recruit them. And this is for the lower levels, not the high end. I'm talking about for the lower levels, like to be on the where the sweeties go at, where she go at. This is what they do, and they're looking for them younger and younger, because that Tatiana Chanel girl, she looked like the type that they would go after. She's 19, 20 years old. That's how they like them. They like them younger than that, actually. But she still has a youthful look to her. So, they would go after her. And some of these this next crop of Instagram girls, because Ari and Jada Waiter and Ruby Rose, all them are getting old. They getting older now. They getting older. They pushing 30. So, once you get close to 30, you are not that valuable in that world. You need to be younger. You got to be with the Tatiana Chanel's over there, that next group. So, but I've spoke enough about this. Let me get off of here. You guys have a good one, and I'll be back.